I am Professor G.V.R. Acharyalu, MBA Healthcare and Hospital Management Coordinator, University School of Management Studies, University of Hyderabad. So today I am going to present on paper Public Policy. The module name is Healthcare Policy of India. If you look at the healthcare policy of India, it is the Indian healthcare system is a very big system and it is going to have different components. So since the healthcare policy is very important for the survival of Indian population, for improving the health status, it requires a lot of efforts to cater the needs of the people, rural India and also poor people. So this healthcare policy, the Indian government has taken a lot of steps in the form of policy, that is National Health Policy, National NRHM, National Rural Health Policy, and all these policies for the betterment of health status, improvement of health status to rural people is going to be governed along with the 5-year plans. So this healthcare policy, how you are going to deliver healthcare to Indian people, Indian segment, this is very important issue. And if you look at the Indian healthcare market is third biggest market among the world. And if you see the healthcare market is growing, the growth rate of healthcare market is going to be 15% annual compound growth rate, that is. So it's going very fastest growing industry in India. And also it is going to have $280 million market size, which is very highest market size, and also third world largest healthcare market in India. And if you look at most of the people are going to be, 70% of the people are going to live in rural areas. That's how it is going to be accessible. The healthcare for all, national health policy is going to have healthcare for all. This is the basic mission of national health policy, and how you are going to create awareness and preventive and also promotion of healthcare, promotion of health through different government policies is very important. And also you have to, if you look at the Indian healthcare system is going to be very fragmented type of industry, and how you are going to look at different policies and what kind of implications of these policies, how these policies are so far addressed the issues of rural people and also health status of the people, and how it is going to penetrate to the lower level. These things we are going to discuss in this paper. In the module Healthcare Policy of India, we will discuss in section 1 what is healthcare policy and in the context and its need and scope. If you look at, it's very widely recognized that health is an important component of human development. Improvement in health status is vital for augmentation of human capabilities. Empowerment of people comes from freedom they enjoy, and this includes among others freedom from poverty, hunger and malnutrition, and freedom to work and lead a healthy life. Health is clearly not the mere absence of disease. The good health confers on a person or group's freedom from illness and ability to realize one's potential. Health is therefore best understood as the indispensable basis for defining a person's sense of well-being. And healthcare covers not merely a medical care but also all aspects pro-preventive care too. Nor can it be a government sector alone, but must include incentives and disincentives for self-care and care paid by private citizens to get overall ill health. Public health carries out its mission through organized interdisciplinary efforts that address the physical, mental and environmental health concerns of communities and populations at risk for disease and injury. Its mission is achieved through application of health promotion and disease prevention technologies and interventions designed to improve and enhance quality of life. There are 3 core public health functions. The first function is assessment and monitoring of health communities and populations at risk to identify health problems and priorities. And the second one is formulating public policies in collaboration with community and government leaders designed to solve identified local and national health problems and priorities. The third one is assuring that all populations have access to appropriate and cost-effective care, including health promotion and disease prevention services and evaluation of effectiveness of that care. World Development Report 1993 examined the rationale of government role in health, identifying 3 economic rationales for government action. The first one is the poor cannot always afford healthcare that promotes productivity and well-being. Publicly financed investment in healthcare play a vital role or pivotal role in the alleviation of poverty and its consequences.
Some health promotion actions are pure public goods or create large positive externalities. Examples are vaccination, immunization, etc. Private markets would either not produce them at all or produce too little in such cases. The third rationale is the government intervention can improve the functioning of these markets in health and health insurance, thus raising welfare. Access to healthcare is decisive to improving health status, and good health is necessary for empowerment. Ensuring access to healthcare helps to minimize absenteeism, enhance labor productivity, and prevents misery. Government's intervention in health is argued for due to presence of high degree of asymmetric information in the health sector. Regardless of poor health indicators, government spending on healthcare is most low, and middle income countries as well below what is needed. A recent analysis suggests that while low income countries need to spend $54 per capita for a basic package of health services, the average actual per capita health expenditure in these countries is only $27. Low revenue collections, competing demands for revenues, and relatively low spending priorities contribute to this insufficient spending of healthcare policies. The Millennium Development Goals, MDG goals, has drawn attention to the needs for ensuring universal coverage in many lowland middle-income countries. The 50th session of the World Health Assembly in 2005 defined universal health care as providing access to key promotive, preventive, curative, and rehabilitative health interventions for all at an affordable cost. So the key goals of healthcare policy, if you look at the objectives of this healthcare policy, is one, improve health quality of care and population health as measured by life expectancy and other measures of wellness, cost containment and pooled risk sharing by population to allow financial access to care as well as avoid catastrophic ruin, provide access to care in an equitable manner for all citizens. So this is what the first session contains, and second session is on health status of population of India. Health status of population of India is to look at India's health accomplishments that are low in comparison to the country's income level. According to UNDP's Human Development Report 2010, a set of 193 countries, while India ranked 119th on Human Development Index, it ranked 143 in infant mortality rate and 124th in maternal mortality rate and 132 in life expectancy at birth and 145th in under 5 mortality rate. The National Health Policy of 1983 and the National Health Policy of 2002 have served us well in regarding the approach for the health sector in 5-year plans for different schemes. Non-availability of essential finances is a chief impediment in the healthcare attainments of people in many developing countries, including India. While the continuing resource constraints and competing sectoral demands, the allocation needed in the health sector has not increased to satisfactory level. The Government of India in the 1946 foremost report on Health Survey and Development Committee, also known as Boer Committee, confirmed the inadequacy of existing medical and preventive health organization as one of the reasons for India's poor health condition in its report. India still counts 21% of world's global burden of disease and is home to greatest burden of maternal, newborn and child deaths in the world. Infant mortality rate declined from 83 per 1,000 live births in 1990 to 47 per 1,000 live births in 2010, and maternal mortality ratio reduced from 570 per 1 lakh live births in 1990 to 212 in 2009. However, both remain high in comparison to other BRICS countries. Gender issues are of great concern. Worrying proportion of selective gender abortion became even more visible with the 2011 census. The female to male sex ratio in the 0 to 6 year age group declined steeply from 0.945 in 1991 to 0.941 in 2011. India is losing more than 6% of its GDP annually due to premature deaths and preventable illness, according to World Bank's 2010 report. Total expenditure on health is 4.2% of GDP. Of this, current public expenditure is only 1.1% of GDP, which is very low. Over 70% is out-of-pocket expenditure and majorly at the point of service. The out-of-pocket expenditure is going to create a major problem that they are unable to avail other healthcare policies. The country's per capita health spending has risen from $21 in 2000 to $45 in 2009, with government expenditure within it increasing from $6 to $15. However, India remains among 5 countries with the lowest public health spending levels in the world. Out-of-pocket payments have increased with the improvement of nearly 2.2% of population taking place annually due to catastrophic illness related to expenditure. Hospitalization for major illness is a major cause of indebtedness, especially for those living below the poverty line. India's performance, if you look at India's performance in healthcare is only better than that of sub-Saharan Africa. In fact, among South Asian countries, the infant mortality rate in India in 2008 was better than that of Pakistan, Bhutan. And furthermore, the rate of improvement in the infant mortality rate over 1990 to 2008 periods in India was lower than in most other South Asian countries, including Bangladesh, Nepal, and Bhutan. This depicts the dismal state of India's healthcare policies and gross neglect of this sector. Significant factor contributing to the sluggish progress in the population health in India is the poor access to primary and preventive healthcare services. This is evidenced by the fact that India's immunization rates and percentage of births attended by skilled health personnel rank among the worst in the world. According to the Global Burden of Disease data published by WHO World Health Organization in 2008, of the total number of deaths in a sample of 192 countries across the world, India accounted for nearly 1/4 of the deaths due to diarrhea, more than 1/3 of deaths due to childhood cluster diseases, many of which are preventable by basic immunization, more than a third of deaths due to leprosy, more than a half deaths due to Japanese encephalitis, and 30% of deaths due to personal conditions. The overall health status of people masks the large intra-country variations across states. In 2008, the difference in infant mortality rate, IMR, between the best state in India, Kerala, and the worst state, Madhya Pradesh, was nearly 6-fold, 12th in Kerala, 70th in Madhya Pradesh. In general, the IMR in 4 states with the highest rates, Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan, was about double the IMR in the best states in the country, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Maharashtra. Moreover, the rate of decline in IMR in the 4th worst states, highest IMR, has been much lower than in 4 best states, lowest IMR. The average improvement index based on Kakwani 1993, say in 1981 indicate that 20-year period from 1988 to 2008, the average improvement index in top 4 states was markedly higher than the average improvement index in the bottom states. Then coming to the section 3, the health infrastructure gap in India. If you look at the health infrastructure gap, the following data is obtained from National Health Profile 2010, and these gaps are: the first gap is insufficiency of hospital beds. There are 12,760 hospitals having 5,76,793 beds in the country. Out of these, 6,795 hospitals are in rural area with 1,49,690 beds, and 3,748 hospitals are in urban area with 3,99,195 beds. Average population served per government hospital is 90,972, and the average population served per government hospital bed is 2,2012.8. This figure is far more dismal in states like Assam, Bihar, and Jharkhand. And coming to the second point, dismal number of healthcare centers. There are 1,45,895 sub-centers, 23,391 primary health centers, 4,510 community health centers in India as on March 2009. These figures are insufficient keeping in the mind model of 2005 National Commission on Macroeconomics and Health, which recommended the sub-center for every 5,000 population, a primary healthcare center for every 30,000 population, and community health center for every 1 lakh population. The third point is insufficient number of blood banks. Total number of licensed blood banks in the country as on January 2011 is 2,445. States in Northeast East Asia are severely low on availability of blood banks except for state of Assam. Remaining 6 states only have licensed blood banks. The next point is on urgent need for more medical colleges. In terms of medical education infrastructures, the country has 314 medical colleges and 289 colleges for BDS, Bachelor of Dental Surgery courses, and 140 colleges conduct MDS, Master of Dental Surgery courses, with a total admission of 29,263 in 256 medical colleges, 21,543 and 2,783 respectively during 2010 and 11. The population of the country during this period increased by 1.3%, approximately 1.5 crores. Thus, presuming that all these new admissions would serve the increased population for the period of 2010 and 11, each medical profession from medical college would be serving a population of more than 500 people. Nurses and midwives are not properly trained due to inadequate infrastructure. In several places, nursing schools were functioning more as appendages of the district hospitals. In 2004, 61.2% of national schools colleges were found unsuitable for teaching. Public hospitals and clinics have been found to be understaffed by 15 to 20%. On an average, this problem is more rampant in rural areas. Next point is concentration of healthcare in metro cities. Central Government Health Scheme CGHS has health facilities in 24 cities having 246 allopathic dispensaries and total 438 dispensaries in the country with 8,47,081 registered cards families. This scheme shows wide disparities as major 1/3 of these families are concentrated in 4 metro cities. The next gap is non-availability of urgently needed vaccines. The availability of life-saving vaccines is also not up to the mark. The gap between the demand and supply of DPT in 2009-10 was above 26%, and the same period the gap for TT was 16%, and ASVS Scorpion the gap was 54%. Substandard drugs are also a concern for India. Poor enforcement of regulations are due to weak and inadequate drug control infrastructure at the state central levels. Only 17 of 31 states, union territories have drug testing facilities. This is coupled with lack of manpower for enforcement of regulations. Infrastructure is also inadequate. Insufficiency of manpower in terms of doctors can be inferred from fact that India has doctor population ratio of 59.7 physicians for every 1 lakh population. However, the same statistics for developed countries are going up to 200. Coming to section 4, understanding of healthcare policy making in India. In India, state governments have predominantly responsible for providing healthcare services. Health service industry in India characterized by 3-tier system. At the lowest level are sub-centers, with each covering population of 5,000 in the plains and about 3,000 in the hilly and difficult terrain. Only paramedical staff is available in the sub-centers. The first points of contact with the doctor are primary healthcare centers, with each covering 30,000 people in the plains and about 20,000 people in the hilly and difficult terrain. In terms of health policies, structured health policy and health planning in India is not a post-independence phenomenon. In fact, most comprehensive health policy and plan document even prepared in India was on the eve of independence in 1946. The Health Survey and Development Committee report, popularly referred to as BHOR Committee. This committee planned an exhaustive plan of national health service for the country. For the 5-year plans, the healthcare sector comprised proposals that had objective and targets to be achieved. Every plan phase had a number of schemes, and all consequent plans added few more and dropped a few. In 1950s and 60s, the complete spotlight of health sector policies in India was to handle epidemics. Throughout the first 2 5-year plans, the essential structure of the public health care delivery scheme remained unaffected. Urban areas continued to get over 3/4 of medical care resources, while rural areas covered special attention under community development program. The third 5-year plan highlighted shortage of healthcare institutions, doctors and other personnel in rural areas as being the chief deficit at the end of second 5-year plan. It was by the 5th plan that administration apologetically recognized that despite the progress in terms of infant mortality rate going down and life expectancy going up, The quantity of medical institutions, functionaries, beds, health facilities were still woefully insufficient in the areas. This awareness was reflected in objectives of 5-year plan. The first objective is increasing accessibility of health services to rural areas through minimum needed program and correcting the regional imbalances. The second objective is referral services to be developed further by removing deficiencies. Third one is intensification of control and eradication of communicable diseases. And fourth objective is effecting quality improvement in the education and training of health professionals. And the last objective is development of referral services by providing specific attention to common disease in rural areas. In addition, major development in health policy was initiated in 1977 by building a cadre of village-based health auxiliaries called community health workers. This proposal was approved on the suggestions by Srivastava committee. This committee projected to remedy the scarcity and trained manpower in rural areas. The sixth plan was to launch a large amount of predisposed by Alma Ata declaration by Health for All by 2080, and ICSSR and ICMR report has endorsed this statement. The policy emphasized the development of community-based health system. The National Health Policy of 1983 was pronounced during sixth plan. The National Health Policy, in light of directive principles of Constitution of India, suggested universal comprehensive primary health care services which are relevant to the actual needs of priorities of the community at the cost which people afford. Health policy was thus expression of what healthcare system should do so that it can meet healthcare needs of the people. The sixth and seventh plans, 5-year plans, clearly state that success of the plan depends on crucially the efficiency, quality and texture of implementation, a greater emphasis in the direction of competitive ability, reducing cost, greater mobility and flexibility in the development of investable resources in the private sector, and flexible policies to revive investor interest in the
So to sum up the healthcare policy of India, the policy is a guideline for action. For any policy is going to be the guideline, developing how best you are going to develop guidelines for the action. So far the healthcare policies in India have developed in such a way that in a right spirit, but it has got some problems. So administrative problems, or resource problems, or financial problems. So these constraints have been faced by our healthcare systems, and the policies have never been implemented to the fullest potential. To implement the policies in a better way, it requires a lot of support from the community. It is not that government is going to do only the actions and developing the policies, but the community support, and also you have to look at the technology, how best you are going to make use of the technology, like telemedicine, emergency medicine, teleradiology, so many technologies are coming up. So to connect the rural people and also urban poor. So this is to develop healthcare system, to strengthen the healthcare system to be efficient, effective, and also equitable, and also more accountable. So these things are very much important. These policies should be strengthened, very important, and also the community role also very important. And if you look at by 2020, the Indian healthcare system is going to be a world healthcare destination. So all countries in the world are looking at India because we have the best of people, best technology, and best human capital, nurses, doctors. So since we are going to have, all hospitals are going to be accredited to treat the foreign patients, but we have to look at our Indian population also. So it is everybody's responsibility with commitment and sincerity to uplift the poor people and see that there is a talent in the poor people to come out and to serve the nation in a better way. Thank you.